Today, we're diving into a tool that the world's most effective problem solvers swear by. We're talking about a technique that shifts your team from constantly fighting fires to, well, to preventing them from ever starting. This is all about the Fishbone diagram, a framework for getting to the absolute heart of any complex issue.
So let me ask you something. Does your team ever feel like it's stuck on a hamster wheel? You know the feeling. You solve a problem, you celebrate, and then 2 weeks later, surprise, it's back. That cycle of temporary fixes is one of the biggest strains on resources and, frankly, on morale in any organization. And this right here is the fundamental mindset shift. The most effective teams, they don't just slap a bandage on a problem. Nope. They diagnose and they treat the underlying condition. Their goal isn't a quick fix. It's a permanent solution that takes the problem off the table for good.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about the huge mistake of just chasing symptoms. Then we'll introduce our tool for finding the real root cause. We'll break down a problem using something called the 6Ms framework. Then build a diagram together, step by step. We'll even apply it to a real-world case study. And finally, figure out how to turn all that great analysis into action. Okay, first up, chasing symptoms, not causes. This is where, honestly, most problem-solving efforts go completely wrong. And believe me, it comes at a huge cost. Look, quick fixes are tempting, I get it. But they're a trap. They only address what's right on the surface, which just creates this vicious cycle of wasted time, money, and energy. And all the while, the real problem is just festering under the surface, probably getting worse. And the human cost? That's huge too. You end up with a frustrated, demoralized team that starts to feel like they can't make a real difference. But here's the good news. There is a much, much better way. So let's introduce our compass for navigating all this complexity, the cause and effect diagram. This amazing tool was actually introduced way back in the 1960s by a pioneer in quality management, a man named Kaoru Ishikawa. At its heart, the cause and effect diagram is really a visual brainstorming tool. It gives you a structured way to map out all the potential causes, the inputs, that could be leading to a specific problem, or the output. And because of its shape, it got the nickname Fishbone diagram. You'll also hear it called the Ishikawa diagram, as a nod to its creator. Now, this isn't a tool you break out for every little issue. It's really a strategic weapon for those complex, messy problems that have tons of potential causes. Its real power is how it helps you systematically identify and sort out all those contributing factors, so you can move beyond just guessing and start implementing solutions that actually work. So, to give our analysis some structure, we use the 6Ms framework. This is the real engine of the Fishbone diagram. It's a classic MISI framework. That stands for mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. But in simple terms, it just means it gives us 6 distinct categories that, together, cover every possible source of a problem. This ensures nothing slips through the cracks. Our first category is man, or as we should really say, people. This covers any and every human factor in the process. We're talking about operators, technicians, managers, anyone. We're looking at how their actions, their training, or maybe their decision-making could be contributing to the problem. Next up is method. This category is all about the how. The processes, the procedures, all of it. We're examining everything from the official policies and SOPs to the informal ways people get things done. You know, the unwritten rules. Third, we have machines. This one's pretty straightforward. It covers all the physical equipment. Think tools, computers, vehicles, manufacturing lines, any piece of hardware you need to get the job done. Is a machine out of calibration? Is a tool wearing down? That all goes right here. The fourth M is materials. This category includes all the inputs and the stuff you use up in the process. We're talking raw materials, components from suppliers, even things like lubricants or paper if they're relevant. A defect in your materials can have a massive domino effect downstream. Number 5 is measurements. This one focuses on data and how you're actually evaluating quality. We're looking at the data itself, how it's collected, and the tools you use like sensors or calipers. You see, a flawed measurement system can send you on a total wild goose chase, trying to solve a problem that isn't even real. And our final M is environment. This is a big one. It captures the conditions where the process actually happens. This could be physical, like temperature, humidity, or the layout of a factory, but it can also be the less tangible stuff, like the time of day, the pressure of a deadline, or even the overall workplace culture. All right, we've got the framework down. Let's move from theory to practice. It's time to roll up our sleeves and actually build one of these diagrams. It's a pretty straightforward 5-step process.
First, you have to define the problem with crystal clarity. This becomes the head of the fish. Second, draw the spine. Third, add the 6 main bones and label them with our 6M categories. Now, step 4 is the most critical. You brainstorm all the potential sub-causes for each of those categories. And finally, you step back, analyze the whole diagram, and look for recurring themes or likely culprits. This is often where you'd use another technique like the 5 whys to really drill down to the foundation of the issue. And I have to be really clear about this. The quality of your diagram completely depends on the quality of your brainstorming. You have to create a safe space where every single idea is welcome, no matter how wild it seems. The goal here is to get everything out on the table, to push past the obvious stuff and really unearth those deeper hidden root causes. Okay, theory is great, but let's see how this actually works in the real world. We're going to walk through a quick case study about a manufacturing unit that's dealing with some defective valves. This is a perfect example of how the diagram turns a messy problem into a clear roadmap. So here's the situation. A company is getting hammered with customer complaints. The problem? The diameter of the valves they're shipping is consistently wrong. That right there is our clear, concise problem statement. That's the effect that goes in the box at the head of our fishbone. So, using the 6Ms as their guide, the team starts brainstorming. Under measurement, they think, hey, maybe the staff is using the wrong caliper. Under method, they wonder if the right procedures are even being followed. That, of course, leads them to man/people and the idea that maybe there's not enough training. And finally, under machine, they consider that the cutting tool's calibration might be off. See how that 6M framework just naturally organizes their thinking? It turns a vague problem into 4 very distinct, testable ideas. So creating the diagram is a massive step forward, but it's not the final step. Now comes the crucial part. We have to turn this brilliant analysis into meaningful action. This is where you get the real value out of the whole exercise. So why go through all this trouble? Well, the benefits are huge. It forces you to be systematic and data-driven. It creates a shared picture of the problem so the whole team is literally on the same page. It saves a ton of time and money by stopping you from chasing solutions that won't work. And it's more than just a chart. It's a catalyst for real teamwork, and it points you exactly where you need to go next to gather more data. To really master this, just remember these 3 rules. Rule 1, when you're brainstorming, focus only on causes, not solutions. You're a detective gathering clues, not a judge delivering a verdict. Rule 2, always push your team to go deeper than the easy, superficial answers. And rule 3, fall in love with the word why. Keep asking it for every potential cause until you hit rock bottom. You see, the fishbone diagram isn't just a chart on a whiteboard. It's a whole new way of thinking. It's about building the discipline to look past the symptoms and having the courage to actually tackle the real issues head on. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have this tool, what is the first root cause that you and your team are going to uncover?